Good afternoon, everyone. This week, the Senate Budget Committee, under the leadership of Senator Graham, Chairman Graham, will move forward with a budget resolution that will address many of the topics that we think are of immediate concern to the American people and priorities of President Trump and his administration. Starting with securing our southern border, we desperately need resources to make sure that our leaders, and we heard from a couple of them today, and Senator Graham will speak to that in just a minute, have the resources that they need to do the job that the American people expect us to do, and that is to keep our southern border secure. It is a national security issue. It's an economic security issue. Secondly, obviously, and just as importantly, is making sure that our military and our defense is ready to deal with any threat that exists around the world. And the Biden administration, in every single one of their budgets, didn't keep up with the rate of inflation when it comes to funding the military. So there are things that need to be done to ensure that America is ready to face whatever threats exist in a very dangerous world. And the final issue that will be addressed in this budget resolution is the issue of energy. The Biden administration, through their policies, made it very, very difficult for this country to become energy dominant. And it's going to take a while to get us back to where we need to be. But as we start to undo some of those policies and put policies in place that will encourage American energy production and get us on the way toward making America energy dominant, that's the goal and the objective of what we're trying to do here. This is a process, the budget resolution, which unlocks budget reconciliation, which is what enables us, the budget tool that enables us to do these things. And so we're here today. Basically, Senator Graham is here to speak to that issue and to take questions that you might have about how that process works, what it looks like. But as the week unfolds, we hope that he and his committee can move forward on this process and put us in a position where we are able to execute on the floor in addressing what are critical priorities for the President, for this administration, and for our country. Securing our southern border, rebuilding our military, and unlocking American energy dominance. Senator Graham.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. I was with Speaker Johnson at the Super Bowl Sunday with President Trump, and I told him, and I want to tell everybody in the country, I'm a huge fan, and nothing would please me more than one big, beautiful bill passed by the House that did all the things we need to do to make us prosperous and safe. That is my preference. Now, what guides my thinking is the problem we have now. We're running out of money. So we had Tom Holman and Russ Vought speak to the conference today, and I'm urging the Speaker to invite them over and let them tell the House what they told us. Tom Holman said, I am begging you for money. Russ Vought said that we're running out of money for ICE. We can't rob other accounts any longer. Why do we need this money? There are 300,000 children that are missing we want to find. The sooner we can find them, we'll end their abuse. And they're being abused while I speak. So to the American people, if you want your government to track down these 300,000 immigrant children that are missing, we need more money to do it. To the American people, if you'd like to finish the wall, we need more money to do it. If you want a more modern border, we need money to do it. If you believe that President Trump is right to track down and deport criminal aliens and clean up the mess that's been created over the last 4 years, we need more ICE agents. They gave us a summary of what $175 billion would do. It would be enough money for 4 years to implement President Trump's border agenda, immigration agenda on the security side. I am a fairly hawkish guy. I am telling you right now, I've never seen more threats to our nation than I do right now. We need $150 billion to help the military yesterday, and that will be part of this bill. We'll have money for the Coast Guard. We're just not going to spend $350 billion. We're going to pay for it. So what will happen tomorrow, hopefully, we'll mark up a budget resolution bill that says the Armed Services Committee will come up with a $150 billion plan to increase spending to make our military stronger and more lethal. We'll come up with a $175 billion plan to secure the border. that will be Judiciary and Homeland Security, will enact that plan working with administration. The other committees will be instructed by the Budget Committee to find offsets. So what will they do? They will go into mandatory spending accounts and find offsets to pay for this. And that's what we're going to do tomorrow. And why are we doing it tomorrow? After hearing these two gentlemen today, we're living on borrowed time. I've never been more worried about a terrorist attack on our homeland than I am now. Tom Holman said that the activity on the northern border is at an alarming rate. The number of suspected terrorist types have moved from the southern border to the northern border. After Tom talked about trying to find these children, half of us started to cry. You have no idea what hell these kids are going through. And the sooner we can give ICE and other people the money to free them, the better off our country will be. To my friends in the House, we're moving because we have to. I wish you the best. I want one big, beautiful bill. But I cannot and I will not go back to South Carolina and justify not supporting the president's immigration plan. We're not building a wall, folks. We're hitting a wall. They need the money, and they need it now.
Senator Capito.
Yeah, thank you. Thank all of you, and I want to thank Chairman Graham for what he has done to educate all of us and to help all of us understand the process at the Budget Committee. We're excited about it, and we know it'll be a successful result. I just want to add my voice to both Leader Thune and our chairman to show that we are very united across the hall with the House and the Senate. We have the same goals. We have the same ends in mind that we share with President Trump. And so we are fighting hard that the House can find the way for the big, beautiful bill. But it's important for them to know that we're working, too, so that when that happens, and if it happens, we're all ready. And time is of the essence. On the energy portion, I think it's really important for us to unlock and unleash American energy. It's important for my state. It's important for my citizens. It's important for the country's security, both internal and external. And so we're going to roll up our sleeves. We'll be watching carefully the Budget Committee tomorrow. We wish them every success, and we know they will be successful. I talked about the immigration numbers last week and how the President has delivered with results. We're going to be, this week, giving the President the tools to be more successful, to have good results into the future. Thank you.
Questions for Senator Graham?
This is for Senator Graham. Senator Graham. Senator Graham. So we make this compelling case about this money being needed now. You talk about what Mr. Holman and Mr. Vogt discussed. I know you said you want them to talk to the House. But if that's the case, the House says, no, we're going to do our own bill focused on tax cuts and government spending. That doesn't seem like they've been able to convince them. Why not?
I don't know if they've had the briefing that we just had. I hope they will. And all I can say is the $175 billion was broken down in a way that made perfect sense to me, that we need detention beds, not release people into the communities to wreak havoc. We need to finish the wall, and we need ICE agents to deport criminals and find these kids. All I can say is I wish the House would at least listen to what they're saying. What compels my thinking? I still want a one big, beautiful bill, but I cannot, after hearing what I heard today, not act. I talked to President Trump over the weekend. He wants to get results. And after that briefing, if the Republican Party cannot provide the money to the Trump administration to do all the things they need to do to make us safe, we have nobody to blame but ourselves, because we have the ability through reconciliation to do this. And I just want to do it sooner rather than later.
The Speaker says it's a non-starter. So your plan is a non-starter. So how are you going to pass this when the Speaker says it doesn't have the votes?
I'm going to do what I think is best with my colleagues to make America safe. If you listen to what I heard today and you're hesitant to act, that would be a problem. I heard Tom Holman, pretty tough guy, begging us for money. I beg you to give me more resources. I heard Russ Vogt, the OMB guy, say, ICE is out of money. All I can tell my House colleagues whatever you need to do to get the one beautiful bill, do it. Do it now. You have my blessing. You have my support. But if we can't do it quickly, we need to go to Plan B. I dare say that if most Americans had heard what we heard in that room, this debate would end pretty quickly. We would quickly give money to Tom Holman and the military to get the job done.
Mr. Chairman, do you need to be more aggressive about adding additional spending cuts or reforms to get House Republicans on board?
All I can say is that we made a commitment as a conference that we're not just going to spend more money on worthy causes. We're going to make sure it's paid for by taking money away from other parts of the government that are less worthy. That's what people at home have to do. So we're going to spend the money in 4 years. That will be enough to enact the Trump immigration agenda on the security side for the entire 4 years. And we're going to pay for it in 4 years. So the authorizing committees that will be instructed to find offsets are going to have to find offsets in a 4-year window. That's more difficult, but I think is fiscally responsible.
Senator, talking about world security and American threats to America right now, have you spoken to President Trump about USAID? And what do you think about the way that agency has been dismantled without much notice, ability to plan around the world?
Well, USAID, under scrutiny, did poorly. I have been a big advocate for soft power. I'm a pretty hawkish guy, but I've been in charge of the 150 account, state foreign ops account, making sure the State Department is funded. To the men and women of the State Department, you're warriors in your own way. You serve in very dangerous places. I want you to have secure embassies and secure consulates. You represent the best of America. USAID is an agency that let us all down. I've been advocating for soft power for my entire time up here. And what I have seen makes me sick to my stomach. I am for helping starving people. I am for clean water. I am for making sure that we have ability to combat China and Africa, that we show up with the best of America. But Samantha Powers has been just texting me morning, noon, and night. Samantha, look in the mirror. The reason USAID is going to cease to exist as it did before is because it should. I can't go home and say, this is soft power. Operas, whatever agenda you got, needs to be focused on making America safer and prosperous by working with people. So USAID is a victim of their own excesses.
Senator Graham, Senator Graham, can we please ask some questions of the leaders?
And let me just quickly reiterate one thing that Chairman Graham mentioned, and that is that what we're doing here, we view it is complementary with the House. Now, granted, they are on a different track, but that's why we have this process. And I harken back to in the past, there were two. I remember a time when there were 2 reconciliation bills done. They were negotiated at the same time, simultaneously, moved sequentially. We will figure out how to get to the finish line. And the one thing that we're all interested in and concerned about is unlocking this process, getting started, and getting an outcome and getting a result.
Can I get your reaction to J.D. Vance's comment over the weekend that judges are not allowed to control the legitimate power of the executive? Do you agree with that? And do you think the president and his administration should comply with federal court rulings?
Well, I think what you're seeing right now is the natural give and take between branches of the government. We have 3 branches to our government, as you all know, and the courts have a way of mediating or refereeing, if you will, some of the disputes between the Article I and Article II branches of the government. And I think that's what you're seeing here. And I think this is a process that will continue to play out. But do I believe that the courts have a very, very valid role and need to be listened to and heard in that process? The answer is yes.
Do some of these executive orders from President Trump need to be codified in budget reconciliation so they don't face the legal challenges they're facing right now?
I think that some do, and if they are eligible for and can be included in budget reconciliation, we will make every attempt to do that. Some of the EOs clearly stand on their own. Some, I shouldn't say some, but in many cases would be useful and helpful, frankly, to have it codified so you have something that's durable and doesn't change from one administration to the next. So we'll be taking a good hard look at that and to determine where and when, if possible, we can get some of these things codified and put into statute. Thank you.